we'll do one line at a time. I got some feedback that I should be doing one line. So
Okay, Mataji, yes. Praje
जय प्रसिद्धं नवनीतचोरम्
गोपागणानां च दुकूलचरम्
गोपागणानां च
Gopaganam
दुःखचोरम्
अनेकजन्मार्जितपापचोरम्
अनेकजन्मजतापचोरम्
चौराग्रगण्यं पुरुषं नमामि
चौराग्यनयं पुरुषं नमामि
श्रीराधिकाया हृदयस्य चोरम्
Radhikaya Hridaya Charam
नवाम्बुदश्यामलकान्तिचोरम्
Navadha
नवराधाश्यामलकान्तिचोरम्
पदाश्रितानां च समस्तचोरम्
पदाश्रितानां च समस्तचोरम्
चौराग्रगण्यं पुरुषं नमामि
चौराग्यनं
Purusham
पुरुषं
Namami
नमामि
अकिञ्चनीकृत्य प्रदाश्रितं यः
Akinchanikrita Padashritam Yaha
करोति भिक्षुं पथिगेहहीनम्
Karoti Bhikshum Patigehahinam
केनाप्यहो भीषणचोरैर्द्रो
Kenapya Bhishanachoraidri
दृष्टः श्रुतो वा न जगत्त्रयेऽपि
Drishtashuto Jagatrayeti
यदीयनामापि हरीत्यशेषम्
नमामि
Yadinamapi Harityashesham
गिरिप्रसारान् अपि पापराशिन्
Giri Prasaran
प्रसारान्नपि
Apipaparashin
पापराशिन्
आश्चर्यरूपो ननु चोरयिद्र
Ashcharyarupo Nanucharayidra
आश्चर्यरूपधनुचरयिद्र
दृष्टः श्रुतो वा न मया कदापि
Drishtashutovana Kadapi
धनं च मानं च तथेन्द्रियाणि
Dhanam Chamanam Chatathendriyandriyani
प्राणांश्च हित्वा मम सर्वमेव
Pranam Shritva Mama
मम
Sarvameva
सर्वमेव
पलायसे कुत्र धृतोऽद्यचार
Palaya Sakutra Drito Drita Chara
यचारा
तं भक्तिदाम्नासि मया निरुद्धः
Tvam Bhakti Damna
दाम्नासिमया
Simayaniruddha
निरुद्धः
क्षीणात्सि घोरं यमपाशबन्धम्
Chinasti
चिरञ्जास्य
Ghoram
गौरं
Yamapashabandham
यासुबन्धम्
भीनास्ति भीमं भवपाशबन्धम्
Bhimatsi Bandham
भवपाशबन्धम्
Bhavapashabandham
क्षीणात्सि सर्वस्य समस्तबन्धम्
Chinati
विनाशय
Sarvasya Samastabandham
समस्तबन्धम्
नैवात्मनो भक्तकृतं तु बन्धम्
Naivatmano
नैवात्मनो
Bhakta Bhagavatam
मनमानसे तामसराशि घोरे
Hanuman Sarashihore
कारागृहे दुःखमये निबद्धः
Paragrihe
Kamaye
Dukamaye Nibadha
लभस्वहे चौरहरे चिराय
Labhasvahe Charya Chiraya
स्वचौर्यदोषोचितुमेव दण्डम्
Swacharya Dosho
Doshojitamev dandam.
कारागृहे वस सदा हृदये मदीये
Karagrihe Vasada
Vasasada
Hridaye
मद्भक्तिपाशदृढबन्धन निश्चलः सन्
Madhvakti Nishchalasan
त्वां कृष्ण हे प्रलयकोटिशतान्तरेऽपि
Tvam Krishna
Krishna
सर्वस्वचौर हृदयान्न हि मोचयामि.
Sarvasvachara Hridayanna Himochayami.
Right? Can we all read translation together? Like one, please take turns reading translation.
I offer my respectful obeisances to that foremost of thieves who is famous in Vraja as the butter thief and he who steals the gopis' clothes, and who, for those who take shelter of him, steals the sins which have accrued over many lifetimes. Hare Krishna.
I offer my respectful obeisances to the foremost of thieves who steals Srimati Radhika's heart, who steals the dark luster of a fresh rain cloud, and who steals all the sins and sufferings of those who take shelter of his feet. Hare Krishna.
He turns his surrendered devotees into paupers and wandering, homeless beggar. Alas, such a fearsome thief has never been seen or heard of in all the three worlds.
Mere utterance of his name purges one of a mountain of sins. Such an astonishingly wonderful thief I have never seen or heard of anywhere.
O thief, having stolen my wealth, my honor, my senses, my life, and my everything, where can you run to? I have caught you with the rope of my devotion.
You cut the terrible news of Yamaraj, who sever the you sever the dreadful news of material existence, and you stash everyone's material bondage, but you are unable to cut the knot fastened by your own loving devotees.
O stealer of my everything, O thief, today I have imprisoned you in the miserable prison house of my heart, which is very fearful due to the terrible darkness of my ignorance. And there for a very long time you will remain, receiving appropriate punishment for your crimes of thievery.
O Krishna, thief of my everything, the noose of my devotion remaining forever tight, you will continue to reside in the prison house of my heart because I will not release you for millions of aeons.
गोवर्धनधरं वन्दे
Dhanadaram Bande
गोपालं गोपरूपिणं
Gopalam Goparupinam
गोकुलोत्सवम् ईशानां
Gokulotsavam Ishanam
गोविन्दं गोपिकाप्रियम्
Govindam
Gopikapyam.
Gopikapyam. I offer my respectful obeisances to the lifter of Govardhan Hill, Lord Gopala, who has the beautiful form of a cowherd boy. He is the grand festival of Gokul, the supreme controller, Govinda, and the beloved of the cowherd damsels of Raj.
Vande Navagana Shyamam
Vande
Vande
Navagana
Shanam
Dvibhujam Muralidharam
Vibhujam
Muralidharam
Pitambaradharam Devam
Pitambaram
Pitambaram
Devam
Devam
Sharanagata Purushottamam
Sharanam
Sharanagata
Sharanagata
Purushottamam.
Shottamam.
Purushottamam. I
I,
offer my. Okay, please go ahead, Mata.
I offer my obeisances to Navaganasham Krishna, who has the color of a fresh rain cloud, who is holding the flute with his two hands. I worship Purushottama, who is so beautiful in his yellow dress, Pitambara. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna Dandavat Pranam everyone. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Whose prayer is that?
Mataji?
Whose prayer? Who wrote that prayer?
Bilva Mangra Thakur.
Bilva
No,
Mangal
these
Thakur.
no. The Chaurashtakam is by Bilva Mangal Thakur, but these two shlokas, I don't know, Mataji. I'll have to look into that. Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure it's from
Yeah.
who it's from.
Chaurashtakam is by Bilva Mangal
Viva
Thakur.
Mangalataka. How nice. I've never really heard that before.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Okay,
So, Hare
so
Krishna. So we are so fortunate to have her grace, Jayshree Mataji from New Vrindavan, and Mataji will enlighten us on Srimad Bhagavatam, verse number 8.22.8 and onwards. Hare Krishna Mataji, please take over the call now.
I was told verse 9.
Verse 9, yes, Mataji.
Oh, verse 9. Okay, very good. Okay.
Yeah. So you want me to read it, Mataji?
Or you don't chant Jairamadava?
Yes, Mataji. Please go ahead.
I'm sorry?
Please go ahead. I will read later. Yeah.
Okay. But you usually chant Jairamadava?
Yes,
I mean, I
Mataji.
always have. Okay. Just want to make sure. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janabala Sirivaradari Yasturanandana Prajajanaranjana Yamuna Tira Anachari Jai Radha Madhava Punjabi Hari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Nitai Gaur Haribo 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo Nitai Gaur Haribo 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parvajakacharya Strater such as divine grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parvajakacharya Strater such as divine grace. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Kurta Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Sri Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhunichananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Sri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Maya Ki Jai. Jamuna Maya Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Srimati Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 22, verse number 9. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay, Mataji, thank you. Kimatmanane jahati yon tataha kimriktahare स्वजान्यख्य जस्युभिः किं जायया संस्कृति हेतु भूतया वत्सर्यगेः किमिहायुषो व्ययः. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Kim, what is the use, Atmana Adana, of this body? Jahati gives up, yeah. Which body? Which body? Nantaha, at the end of life, Kim, what is the use? Vikta Hariha, the plunders of wealth. Swagana Atya Dash Yubihi, they who are actually plunderers, but who pass by the name of relatives. Kim, what is the use? Jayaha, of a wife. Samstri Hetu Bhutaya, one who is the source of increasing material conditions. Martya Yasa, of a person sure to die. Gehahi, of houses, family, and community. Kim, what is the use? Iha, in which house? Ayusaha, of the duration of life. Vyaya, simply wasting. Translation, what is the use of the material body which automatically leaves its owner at the end of life? And what is the use of all one's family members who are actually plunderers, taking away money that is useful for the service of the Lord in spiritual opulence? What is the use of a wife? She is only the source of increasing material conditions. And what is the use of a family, home, country, and community? Attachment for them merely wastes the valuable energy of one's lifetime. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, advises, Sarva Dharma Parikshaya Mama Ekam Saranam Vraja. Give up all other varieties of religion and just surrender to me. The common man does not appreciate such a statement by the Supreme Personality of Godhead because he thinks that during his lifetime, his family, society, country, body, and relatives are everything. Why should one give up any one of them and take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? But from the behavior of great personalities, like Prahlad Maharaj and Bali Maharaj, we understand that surrendering to the Lord is the right action for an intelligent person. Prahlad Maharaj took shelter of Vishnu against the will of his father. Similarly, Bali Maharaj took shelter of Vamanadev against the will of his spiritual master Sukracharya and all of the leading demons. People may be surprised that devotees like Prahlad Maharaj and Bali Maharaj could seek shelter of the side of the enemy, giving up the natural affinity for family, hearth, and home. In this connection, Bali Maharaj explains that the body, which is the center of all material activities, is also a foreign element. Even though we want to keep the body fit and helpful to our activities, the body cannot continue eternally. Although I am the soul, which is eternal, after using the body for some time, I have to accept another body. According to the laws of nature, unless I render some service with the body for advancement and devotional service, one should not use the body for any other purpose. One must know that if he uses the body for any other purpose, he is simply wasting time. For as soon as the time is ripe, the soul will automatically leave the body. We are very interested in society, friendship, and love. But what are these? Those in the garb of friends and relatives merely plunder the hard-earned money of the bewildered soul. Everyone is affectionate toward his wife and is attached to her, but what is this wife? The wife is called Sri, which means one who expands the material condition. If a person lives without a wife, his material conditions are less extensive. As soon as one marries and is connected with a wife, his material necessities increase. Om Sam Shriya Mituni Bhagavan Itam Tayor Mito Hriday Granat Ahu Ato Griya Kshetra Stupata Viter Janmasya Maho Yam Aham Ameti. The attraction between male and female is the basic principle of material existence. On the basis of this misconception, with ties together the hearts of the male and the female, one becomes attracted to his body, home, property, children, relatives, and wealth. In this way, one increases his life's illusions and thinks in terms of I and mine. Human life is meant for self-realization, not for increasing unwanted things. Actually, a wife increases unwanted things. One's lifetime, one's home, and everything one has is not properly, if not properly used in the service of the Lord, are all sources of material conditions of perpetual suffering under the threefold miseries. Unfortunately, there is no institution in human society for education on this subject. People are kept in darkness about the goal of life, and thus there is a continuous struggle for existence. What to speak of survival of the fittest, but no one survives, for no one is free under material conditions. Om Agana Timirandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. We're definitely born in the darkness of ignorance, but our spiritual master is kindly opening our eyes with his torchlight of knowledge. So we offer our most humble and respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of such a spiritual master. First, I wanted to say thank you for having me. I'm glad to be back in your association. Thank you for tolerating me. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, advises Sarva Dharma Parikshajya Mama Ekam Sarvanam Praja. Give up all other varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. The common man does not appreciate such a statement by the Supreme Personality of Godhead because he thinks that during his lifetime, his family, society, country, body, and relatives are everything. This material consciousness is very strong. The conditioned soul is wandering lifetime after lifetime with one mask of identity after another. And one life, he's a beautiful woman and a rich family. In another life, he may be an ugly man in a poor family. He may be in a rich country or a poor country where there's war. The poor soul's wandering, all these different masks he's wearing, one after another. And of course, we know just by looking out the window, there are unlimited living entities, right? There's birds. I'm just saying that the living entity doesn't always take birth in the human form. There's birds and bugs that crawl and animals that roam around. There's trees, big ones, small blades of grass. There's unlimited living entities. So the poor soul is entrapped in this world and he's got a different mask on. Each time he has to change bodies, he changes his whole dynamics. What an actual unpleasant situation. So the material consciousness is binding the soul to these different changes of bodies. And a saintly person or a sadhu uses his knowledge like a knife. This verse is a heavy verse. It's really heavy, right? Because we're also in this spotlight of life with family and friends and community. That's where we live, generally speaking. So to cut the deep embedded material connection that we have, the expert surgeon uses a knife to save the patient. So the expert spiritual master is trying very hard to save the conditioned soul from repeated birth and death. So he's telling it like it is, right? We're very much attached. We're attracted to the society, friendship, love, relatives, our own body. We use we're attached to our country, our wealth, our possessions. We have so many attachments, right? But the advanced spiritual master is trying to open our eyes with his torchlight of knowledge, right? He's putting this, it's almost like poison, right? Bhagavad Gita says that to hear about and deal with the actual realities like poison. We're so used to the illusion that we live in. So we're sometimes, excuse me, could everyone turn off? Could you mute, please? Haribo, could you mute, please? We're hearing conversation. Sometimes it's uncomfortable. Even Srila Prabhupada said, right? You heard him on tapes. Sometimes he'd have dreams of his spiritual master coming to him and telling him to take sannyas. And what did he say? He said, I thought it was horrible. And Bhaktisiddhanta kept coming to Srila Prabhupada to take sannyas. And Prabhupada just couldn't accept it. It was horrible. Right? It's not as easy. We know it's not easy. Prabhupada knew it wasn't easy. He himself said he thought it was very difficult. So he also says one shouldn't take to the renounced order artificially or immaturely, because what happens? Then you fall down, right? You take on another family and start the same thing. So it's like a fine line, right? We have to use our intelligence and discrimination in our own building of our own spiritual life, right? We hear from the great soul, like we just heard this verse it's very heavy. Your wife is all your friends and relatives are simply plunderers trying to get your wealth. I mean, we know it's true because that's the reality. Not that they're really in a demoniac way plunderers, but the kids are always asking for money. The wife is the source of attachment, or the husband. It builds this material illusion for us, right? We want to do our best to take on what's being taught, but we have to do it individually. We see in our history in ISKCON that not all the devotees who took sannyas, most of them actually, were unable to maintain it throughout their life. I know Srila Prabhupada encouraged sannyas back in the beginning. He knew that they wouldn't all be able to maintain, but within that time span, he was able to secure the base of ISKCON, and these individuals were able to secure a very strong hold in their spiritual life. Prabhupada himself was a great example. In his youth, right, he lived with a devotee family. His father came home from work. He would do arti. Prabhupada would wake up to arti being done. His father gave him a deity when he was young. He started worshiping the deity. He lived a devoted life. He met his spiritual master when he was a young man just starting a family. In his married life, he helped the mission of Bhaktisiddhanta as much as possible, even at the extent of the seemingly displeasure of his wife. And then, because circumstances were not the best in the family life, and he wanted to fulfill the direct instruction of his spiritual master, he left. But he still gave his wife an opportunity to join him. And, she chose, and he left. Very difficult to leave a family. He had children, he would have had grandchildren, and all the birthdays and the parties and the get togethers and da da da. But he had a mission, and he gave that mission priority. Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj gave him a direct instruction. He was not an ordinary person, Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, and Prabhupada also was not an ordinary person. He took that mission and he developed a society that gives the opportunity to millions and countless billions of entities, but millions of humans to make some progress in their spiritual life. Like it says, like Prabhupada said in the purport, that this knowledge is not available. What happens nowadays? Oh, any media that we go on, does anybody hear anything except from ISKCON about their eternal life? No, get this shampoo, no, take this medicine. It's going to keep you out of depression, but it may give you suicidal thoughts. It may cause you a heart attack. You may get whatever, schizophrenia. It's like, where do we ever hear someone say, you're not this body, you're going to give up, this body is going to leave you? Where do we ever hear that? So this knowledge, this opportunity is so dynamic. And we're so fortunate, right? We don't want to hear that our family are plunderers, but in the back of our mind, we know it's a reality. And we are the same with others. We're not fully surrendered, depending on Krishna. It's a difficult platform to attain. So We can try and follow in the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada. Right? This is what his footsteps are for. Acharya means he's the example. So we have, I mean, how could we possibly get any of this knowledge without an example like Srila Prabhupada? Who could read the Srimad Bhagavatam and get all this knowledge? We're hearing from Srila Prabhupada explaining these verses and going into detail into our everyday life. It just makes it work. Otherwise, you'd have to be a great devotee to be able to understand the Srimad Bhagavatam without an explanation by a great soul. So Prahlad Maharaj took shelter of Vishnu against the will of his father. This is the explanation. Similarly, Bali Maharaj, this is from the purport. Similarly, Bali Maharaj took shelter of Vamanadeva against the will of his spiritual master, Sukracharya, and all the leading demons. Sometimes we have to do things out of the so-called norm of society. Sometimes the Lord is calling, and the opportunities for service and surrender may not be in keeping with the norm of happiness of our friends and family. When we first started ISKCON, many of the young people went totally against their family and friends. It was just the way it was. Everyone had a similar story. The young people left everything and joined this movement, and totally against family and friends. Right? They left their schooling. Some of them left families, husbands or wives who weren't interested in Krishna consciousness. It was so powerful. It was like a magnet. It was just so powerful. And the taste was so nice. And if you had any spiritual inclination, it was like, wow, yeah, this is what I want to do. Right? They abandoned professions, school. Can you imagine? It was so radical. And some of the parents hired these deprogrammers, right? There was this fellow, Ted Patrick, and he took advantage of the situation. He made a business out of, I mean, honestly, literally kidnapping devotees. The parents would pay this man thousands of dollars to kidnap their child from ISKCON and try and reprogram them into the so-called norm of life. Meat eating, illicit sex life, intoxication, get a job, do the 9 to 5. This guy was relentless. He was like, we heard stories over and over again. Somehow, I mean, physically holding them captive. I don't know how that couldn't have been an illegal act, but somehow or other, they were held hostage against their will and forced to do things to try and get them out of this idea of following a pure life, right? And it went on for several years at least, maybe 3, maybe 4. The parents hired because they thought it was a dangerous cult, right? ISKCON, a dangerous cult, making people give up meat eating and the slaughter of millions of animals. A dangerous cult, give up illicit sex life. So there's not all these unwanted marriages and babies and just so much deplorable activities, and to give up intoxication. Wow, what a dangerous cult that is. But then there was a court case, and ISKCON won. And I remember the story, Prabhupada telling them, to defeat this court case, you go in and read the Srimad Bhagavatam. So somehow or other, I think they gave a set. This is not 100%. I can't remember. Something like they gave a set of Bhagavatams or a set of books to the judge. Anyway, he said this is a bona fide religion. ISKCON is a bona fide religious organization. And then this Ted Patrick and all parents settled down, and things never went that way again. In ourself, we're interested in society, friendship, love. This is our natural human inclination. We're interested in all these things. But really, what are they? They're the people in the guise or in the garb of friends and relatives. Everyone has a motivation, a material motivation, right? You like a person because they're smart or fun or they take care of you. There's always some material clause there. Everyone's affectionate towards their wife. But it says that the wife is called Sri, one who expands the material condition. So, but at the same time, we want that ourselves, right? We want a husband to expand the material condition, the conditioned souls after this expansion. This is our nature. So we hear from the great souls, it cuts through our ignorance. It's not the all in all. It's not the eternal life we're looking for. It will end. Death is there. And when we hear it put in such kind of graphic terms that these people are plunderers and that the wife or husband just expands your material attachment and they expand the prison house of this body, it gives you an awakening of the reality. Not that it's bad, it's good, because we're going to go on, we're going to take that knowledge and live our life still connected to all this materialism, but with knowledge, knowing that it will end, what it actually is, and then we can be more discriminative in our choices in life. My understanding that it pertains to the, well, like Prabhupada said, it's not, many times in these books, Prabhupada kind of sounds like he's saying that women are like this and women are like that, right? It's a thing. Nobody nowadays likes that kind of assumptions. This class of people are bad. But Srila Prabhupada in the past has said that for man, woman is Maya, and for woman, man is Maya. In other words, everyone should try and become detached as far as possible. It gives, like Kunti in her prayers. I mean, she was the queen. Her sons were the ruling princes and king of the land. They had won the war and they were in a very high position. So she says in her prayers, in the teachings of Queen Kunti, O Lord of the universe, soul of the universe, O personality of the form of the universe, please therefore sever my tie of affection for my kinsmen, the Pandavas and the Vrishnis. Right? The prayers of Queen Kunti are very amazing, actually. Here, her sons are great devotees of the Lord, but she's trying to get closer to Krishna. right? Throughout our day, we think we're devotees. Okay, yes, I'm a devotee of Krishna, I'm a devotee, I'm a devotee. But, how much of our day is actually spent in devotion? The concentration, the actual act and mindset of devotion. If you really look at your day, it's not that pure in our devotion. We're really in the beginning stages. We chant japa. Who knows where our mind is? Is it on Krishna? Actually offering ourselves to Krishna, actually asking Krishna to give us service? Is that actually our whole japa span of time? Is that really what we're concentrating on? We go to class, and it's not a criticism. This is where I'm at also. But really, throughout the full day, are we really always thinking on this line? It's not really possible. So Kunti's, it is, let me correct that. It is possible. We may not be there yet, but that's what we're doing. We're on the path of trying to get to that place. But Kunti, her sons are great devotees. Krishna was driving the chariot of her son Arjuna, and he was their good friend. They would hang out with them, and, but still, she's saying, please sever my tie of affection from my kinsmen, the Pandavas and the Vrishnis. In other words, I just want to be affectionate to you and serve you, but I've got all these other affections, so help me. And then she says, O Lord of Madhu, as the Ganges forever flows to the sea without hindrance, let my attraction be constantly drawn to you without being diverted to anyone else. What a high platform of devotion that is. I can't imagine. And we have to be careful. And we have to be careful not to think that we are great devotees. It's really an illusion to think, and actually a great devotee doesn't even think he's a great devotee. That's a fact. People like the Goswamis, they did not walk around with their chest puffed out, giving commands to everyone because they were such a great devotee. Do it like this. I know this. I'm a devotee. What is it Krishna says? One who claims to be my devotee is not. One who claims to be a devotee of my devotee, he's my devotee. But that pride, that it's actually false pride. It actually cuts us off from what we're actually trying to get to. And in extreme cases, Krishna can remove us from this path for some time until we get some humility as to who we are and where we're actually situated. We don't want to water the weeds, right? The great qualities, the 26 qualities of a devotee, the humility, the kindness, the not finding fault. There's 26 qualities of a devotee. Most of us are very far away from having all of those qualities. So to even mentally think that we're a pure devotee or act in such a way to kind of step on other people because we're such a great devotee, it removes us from the actual path that we're looking for. So we want to be very careful. So in Queen Kunti's prayers, they're beautiful prayers. They're also great direction. There's so many beautiful books and songs and prayers that right now and within ISKCON, there's so many prayers we've never heard of, prayers and books galore coming out. They're not entertainment. You know, we're not here wandering through the pleasure groves of Vrindavan. They're all giving us a direction, the path that we're supposed to be following, right? One of detachment, knowledge, respect for others, surrender. These people, these prayers, these stories, there are examples. Some of them are extreme. Look at Lord Chaitanya. Okay, right? What did he do? He actually surrendered completely. He gave up his young wife. He gave up his dependent mother, and she was a widow. He gave it up to preach the cult of devotional service. Sometimes we see, I mean, look at the story, or even Radha Swami. Look at he was following his inner call. He was following what he considered the voice of God. And it took him in very unusual places. And it was totally against the desire of his parents. They were miserable. He was living in caves. He was a young boy, like 21. Can you imagine if your son, okay, he's not going to college anymore. He's not going to become a doctor. He's off in a foreign country living in a cave with no money. I mean, how many people would go, wow, yay, my son's becoming a renunciate? They were miserable, but he kept going. Lord Chaitanya didn't look back. He didn't go back. Oh, my poor mother. He made arrangements, granted his wife, young person, a young wife. He walked away and he went on with this pure devotional service. The Goswamis, they were all very detached. All of them. And there's so many great saints. Okay, so we can't be detached right now. We have family, we have obligations. So what's our other example? So we have Bhaktivinoda Thakur, right? Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He was a big householder, 10 kids. 10 kids. He got married, his wife died, he got another wife. And he was not just a professional man, he was a big magistrate with the British government. And if you look at his daily schedule, it's like unbelievable. He fit in more in one day. And to anybody else, it looked like he was a materialist, right? So there is a way to become detached within the realm of society, friendship, and love activities. It's an internal thing, because if you don't do it internally, you can end up falling down anyway. If you do it in a shallow way or falsely or for some prestige, in the old days we used to joke because the sannyasis or the temple president always got the maha plates. So, sometimes people would take sannyas thinking, oh, well, I'm going to be glorified. I'm going to be able to be in control. I'm going to get the maha plates, get a car, place to live. Sometimes people think like that. But that's not being on the platform of renunciation that's being sought after by this verse. Right? So in the Bible, it also says the same thing. be of the world, be in the world, but not of the world. And we see in another extreme situation, that's what Christ did. He left his family. He was a young man. He walked away. His father was a carpenter. And he walked away and started preaching, and he gathered the apostles as the disciples. Some were fishermen. He had them leave their families. They just left their families. It's not like they had a social security to give them or something. Pick up your cross and follow me. Follow me. You want to make the advancement you're looking for? You want to serve God? Sometimes it's hard to give up things. Some of us are just trying to give up coffee or going eating at restaurants or whatever, simple things. But this deep surrender that the verse is trying to push us towards is to give up, literally give up everything and just serve Krishna. And ultimately, that's what we're actually looking for. We're looking for our devotion to Krishna. So if we can start by trying to change our mentality of attachment, and believe me, I am preaching to myself here. Fortunately, I have children that were raised at the temple. They were born at the temple. So they have some degree of devotion, and their kids have some degree of devotion. In their house are altars and devotional paraphernalia, and they either live in a like Saranagati community where there's nothing but devotees. There's a temple, there's feasts, there's devotional activities going on, or just devotional activities at home and kirtan, something, fortunately. But sometimes families aren't interested at all in Krishna consciousness, and that's difficult. That's difficult. Anyway, we have an opportunity. We're doing our best. Having this program, chanting japa, having class every morning is wonderful, and we're making progress. But we want to take to heart verses like this that are very cutting to the enjoying propensity of the living entity. But they're valuable. They're very valuable. Prabhupada's purports are amazing because he was dealing with us in this day and time. But he's still very, very sharp with his knife of knowledge, cutting out the illusion of the living entity. Because who knows, today or tomorrow, unfortunately, death is there. And it's happening more, to me, more than I've ever seen it. I never thought of death so much as I have the last few years. One devotee after another dying, one friend after another dying. My mother right now is in hospice, dying. She's 98. It's to be expected. She was very healthy up until a few months ago. And for me, it's not like drastic or sad. Definitely will miss her. But it's to be expected at this. Even she said, when the doctor gave us the news and it was given to her, she just kind of laughed and said, "Oh, well, what do you expect at 98 years old?" No stress or fear or anxiety, just accepting the reality. And she's not a Krishna devotee. She's a Catholic and not even a little practicing, but not like some people are. But just to be able to accept the fact, but she doesn't. She pulled me aside and she said, "So what happens to me?" To not have that knowledge is not very good. We're given this knowledge and we're able to pass it on to others. That's kind of our mission, right? The world is running around like madly chasing after one thing or another. Oh, a cute new skirt, I better buy it. Oh, throw away the one that I bought last week. It doesn't fit me so good. Go to the mall. Yeah, let's go shopping. No, look at those cute earrings. Let's get this, let's get that. Okay, we're gonna go travel here. Let's go to this restaurant. We'll eat this. Oh, I saw that. Let's try making that. It's our constant, unfortunately, the way our society is, we're constantly bombarded with the titillations of the senses, right? What does Radhanath Maharaj say? It's the something of distraction. Anyway, it's like everywhere we turn, we're being distracted from our spiritual life. And in America, it's very prominent. The West is known for all of this overabundance of sense gratification.
What is the weapons of mass destruction?
I'm sorry, not clear.
Oh, did you say weapons of mass destruction?
Weapons of mass distraction. Because the term is weapons of mass destruction. That you'll always hear in political talks about wars and stuff. Oh, this country has weapons of mass destruction. But the world has so many weapons of mass distraction that we need to become strong in our preaching and even if we're not preachers, find a way to help the mission, as they say. We can help. We can give money, we can give time, we can wash dishes at the temple, we can bring flowers, we can arrange flowers. Whatever opportunity Krishna arranges for us is beneficial. I was buying a car yesterday. I was at the car place. I had done my homework extensively to what I wanted and how much I wanted to spend and all the details. So I found a car and it fit perfectly into every category that I was looking for. And I was waiting for the financing. I had to finance it a little bit, financing to go through. So I was in the room with these two young men who were the car salesmen. My car salesman was working with the finance guy, and these guys were just sitting at their desk. So I started a conversation with them. Oh, you guys, you're not doing much. It's raining. It was pouring down rain, and they were just saying, and so I just started this conversation, trying to gear it towards something spiritual. And because I'm from New Vrindavan, and because our reputation has become better, it was terrible. It was good at first, and then because of certain people and their activities and circumstances, it became horrible. Didn't even want to let people know you were a devotee around here. Could be dangerous too. But now, so I started this conversation. We were talking about organic food and the high tunnels, and I was telling one of the finance guys, "Oh, you haven't been up to the temple? You got to come up, take a tour of the palace." Just getting into it with them and just, at the car dealership. So there's always an opportunity. Of course, I was not a very bold person, but somehow or other, and one incident kind of pushed me in that direction. Srila Prabhupada was in Hawaii, and he was sitting on the Vyasasana, and all the devotees were in front, and he was passing out cookies. And I was in the back of the Vyasasana, and I didn't go up. And then finally, it was time for him to get up and go up into his room. And the devotees made a pathway for him through the devotees to the door that went up to the upstairs. And I was the only one like behind him, on the side behind him. And there was one cookie left, and he held it up. And I didn't take the opportunity to, because I'm shy, I'm a young woman. I was only like 23. And I just didn't go, and I didn't go, and I didn't go. And he finally put the cookie down and got up and walked out. So I went and I picked up the cookie, and I thought, if I had just been a little bolder, I could have gotten it directly from his hand. He would have smiled at me and said something. So, so in my later years, I tried to become a little bolder. And so I take the opportunity. People love my clothes in town. I always wear a dress that I've gotten from the temple usually. And, there's always either a man or a woman. And I'm an old woman now, right? I'm 77. Oh, you look so beautiful. Wow, yeah, I got the dress at the Palace gift shop. You should come up to the temple. They have so many beautiful dresses. There's always some opportunity to try and direct these living entities. I mean, you got to feel sorry for them. They're facing this life thinking they're this body, that their relatives are all in all, that's all they have, and that their wealth is going to stay with them, and then the next moment there's a war or the economy fails. When I was up in Canada, my son that's up there follows the political scene quite a bit. And he was just saying, I mean, our president for me, I don't even like to look at him, sorry. But my son told me, he said, Mata, he said, you have no idea how close America was to having its economy fail. He said, I don't like the personality and ways of our president, but he said he is smart in certain areas. And he mentioned that if it wouldn't have been for certain actions on a deeper level than we are used to dealing on. Oh, the gas price is high. We don't like this guy. He's making it so we have high gas. But he said if people really understood the reality of some of the things he's done to actually save the country from an economic collapse, he said they'd appreciate him more. So these living entities are just wandering with no idea that the economy can fail, their family could die, they could die today. I mean, it's a reality. It may not be a pleasant reality, but it is a reality. And these people have no idea there's more to life than the spotlight and this shallow life that they're being given by this media and friends and you know and you'd be surprised. You're from a different culture. Many of you are from a higher culture, but I know even in India, they get drunk on the weekends and party and have sex with this person or that person. And, who wants to get married? We don't need to get married anymore. We just live it. And then people get divorced. Let's not just get married and let's eat anything, all kinds of horrible things. It's like they have no idea. It's our good fortune to be able to share this knowledge with them in any way we can think of. And who knows, we may come up with the next thing to do within ISKCON. It's like one of the devotees here, Kamalavati. She just figured one day that if you put a book table or a bookshelf in your temple and have an honor system where people can just put the donation as a price on the book, just put the donation in, you would sell more books. She told Vaisheshika Prabhu, and it became a common thing. We have one up at the palace. We have one in the temple, big one in the temple. All of our books, we have hundreds and hundreds of books people come by, and it's all on the honor system. And that was her little idea. So we don't know what ideas we might come up that might catch on for distributing thousands of books. So we want to do our best and stay positive and just go forward and go back to home, back to Godhead, however fast we can do it. All right, 8:30. I overspoke. Thank you so much. Nice to be back. Hope I didn't lose everybody. Hope you didn't go to sleep. Hope I didn't lose connection. Are you guys still there?
Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for this wonderful class. It's so nicely you explained this verse and all the experiences of your personal life and Srila Prabhupada cookie experience. So thank you so much for that. And yeah, it was nice to have you after a long time. And I hope we will have you more and more now. And yes, Mataji. So I don't have any question, but if devotees have any question, please go ahead and ask. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Jayshree Mataji, Dandat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you, Mataji, for the wonderful class. Mataji, last time when you came, I think you were saying you're going to India, to the Holy Dham. Did that materialize? And can you tell us a little bit about your travel?
Well, that was at Kartik. I did go to India with Malati. We had an adventure, an old lady adventure. We traveling was difficult. We traveled through the night and my health was not happy with it. But we went to Mumbai for a day and a night, got treated royally, got picked up. We had a room, we had free meals at the restaurant. It was very nice. We had special, Malati is a rock star. So an ISKCON rock star. She doesn't like that term, but so we had someone taking us through the temple, through the line for the Damodar prayers. We didn't, it was easy at our age. So we did that, and then we got a car took us to Govardhan Eco Village. We had extremely royal treatment there. Not that that matters. Govardhan Eco Village is just amazing. I was so happy to be able to go. We did have a car to take us around, or not a car, but one of those little carts, like a golf cart. So we got to see everything. We were there for probably four days or 4 nights and 5 days, something like that. But we got to see the whole thing. We got to go to the Radhakund and the new temple. Radhanath Maharaj was there. And somehow or other, fortunately, no matter where we went, we would run into him and he would come and spend some time with us. And it was just glorious. It was such a pleasant experience. And then we got the car back to Mumbai and went to the airport and flew to Delhi. We flew to Delhi, got a car to Govardhan. And there, I mean, anyone that knows Maharaj's yatra, the disciples of Srila Prabhupada are treated very nicely. You know, it's just kind of etiquette, and we're older, so we had a new hotel, if you want to call it a hotel. It was a little hotel right near the Govardhan Yatra. Within walking distance, we had a wonderful time there. We had a car. We were always given a car that took us around Govardhan. You know, we're not going to walk around Govardhan. We went to the different holy places each day. Went to Radhakund. We went to what is it? Nandagam. Anyway, we went to Kusam Sarova. We went regularly to the Banabihari. Well, not Banabihari. Is it Banabihari? What's the temple? The little temple. It's we went there for lunch. ISKCON is helping them. And then we went to the Russian Yatra. They're building this beautiful compound. They have this whole compound, and we were taken around. I mean, traveling with Malati was a relief because she always knows what to do and where to go, and she gets treatment that works wonders when you're older. So they took us all around their project. They're building this great. They had the 6 Goswamis, like life size, beautiful 6 Goswamis. I'm not sure where they're going to put them. They have beautiful structures. They have a little restaurant. We went back there another time with Mandakini, Prabhupada disciple from France. She has been working with the Russian Yatra for many years. She's considered the mother of the Russian Yatra. So they had a program, and we went there and spent time with them. And of course, went around Govardhan Hill. We went to Radhakund. I said that. We went to Rindakund, which is always wonderful. Some of the devotees that I know from here live in Pune. Vrindavan Prabhu, he's from the disciple of Radhanath Swami, and his wife Kavali. They took me. We went on a parikram into Vrindavan. I wanted to see the temple that Radhanath Maharaj talks about in his book, the Radha Gopi Janabalava deities. I wanted to see them, and Vrindavan knew how to find it, so we found that temple. We went to Prabhupada's rooms at Radha Damodar. I would not have recognized Vrindavan. The last time I was there, it was so different. I can't remember where I stayed. I think I stayed at the house of Lalita Piramal on the Bhakti Vedanta Marg. And then we would just walk down the road to the temple in the morning. And there was a few bicycle rickshaws. When we finally got into the Vrindavan area, the first thing I saw was a Radisson Inn and like a Holiday Inn. And of course, granted, it was Kartik. There was just thousands of people and motor cars and auto rickshaws. And it was such a, Malati told me it would be a big wake-up call. But so, I did go shopping. I bought 2 slips, 2 petticoats at downtown Lowy Bazaar. So we did that. And then we finished the yatra, Prabhupada's disappearance day. We got to speak something, cook something for Prabhupada. And every night that we were there, Radhanath Maharaj, soon as he came in, would come over to his godbrothers and then god sisters and greet us and spend a few moments with us. Just so personal, just so wonderful, so fortunate. And then Malati and I got a ride. What did we do? Yeah, we got a car to Jaipur. So we drove to Jaipur, just the two of us, and got this very quaint hotel. And it was also the last time I was there, it was just, you could walk in the streets. It was very quiet. And this was maybe because it was Kartik, it was just noisy and crowded and a little unpleasant. But this hotel we stayed at was an old colonial kind of hotel. And they had a vegetarian restaurant. They had Jain food without onions and garlic. We had a wonderful room. The price was amazing. And we had this one auto rickshaw fellow that we befriended, and he took us for Mangalartik sometimes to Govindaji temple. And we would go every evening. We went there. We went to Radha Vinod. We went to a couple of different temples there. I took a trip to the ISKCON temple, where Krishna is playing the flute and lifting up Govardhan Hill. Very cool. Very cool deities. The temple's beautiful. Malati was telling me how the stained glass, it has the most fantastic, huge stained glass all the way around the temple. There must be 20 different huge stained glasses. She said the Russian devotees made them. And she remembered when they were being made, and they were brought there from, I don't know, from Russia. I don't know where they were being made, but they were made by the Russian devotees. Very fine stained glass, just really extraordinary. But nobody was there to greet us. Nobody, it was fine. We stopped at their little store and got some cookies or something, and we went back. And then what did we do? We got a car from there to the Delhi airport. Delhi? Was it the Calcutta airport? I don't know, Delhi airport. And then we flew to Amritsar. And there's a wonderful congregation of Radhanath Swami's disciples. And there was one family that I used to know when I used to go to India all the time from Mumbai. I kind of cultivated the younger daughter, who is now probably 40 years old. But Raghunath, is like he's got a whole congregation there. And the congregation is just wonderful. And they're all getting initiated by Radhanath Swami. And we had a wonderful time in Amritsar. It was so different. It was not crowded. It was much easier to get around. We stayed at these very wealthy people's house. They were just like humble servants, just such kind, humble people. And there was always a car to take us to different places. They made the arrangements for us to go to the Golden Temple. We went to some of the places that Malati knew. I don't know if she was there with Prabhupada, but we went to some of the places that Prabhupada had talked to or stayed at in Amritsar. And we had a program. We had a lunch every day and a program every night with that group of devotees at different people's houses. They're all very wealthy, very kind, very devotional. It was a very nice end of our trip there. And then we flew back to Mumbai and then flew out and went to London. I had never been to London. Malati wanted me to come to see the manor. And we stayed at the guest house right around the corner from the manor and had a wonderful time. There's devotees there that Malati's known for years. Vishaka, we spent some time with Vishaka, of course. And we both gave class at the manor. And, I had a tour of the manor. Our stay at the manor was really wonderful. There was some different programs wherever she spoke, she had me speak to. So that was nice. She's always pushing me, always pushing me to speak somewhere. So, and then we came home and collapsed. No, we had a wonderful trip. We had a wonderful trip. I might go with her again she's got a GBC meeting. She's resigned from the GBC, but they want her to come to this meeting. It's at Govardhan Eco Village for 10 days, and then on to the Yatra at Ayodhya. So we'll see if I can. It's a financial thing. It's not inexpensive, so money's always a consideration, especially after I just bought a car. Anyway, so that was it in a nutshell, our wonderful trip.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for taking us through the wonderful dhams in India and
Our yatra.
London. Yeah, during Kartik month. Mataji, one question is, Purushottam month is going on. We don't see as much adoption of Purushottam month as Kartik month. Is there a reason for that? I know Srila Prabhupada had sent it in a letter to Satsarup Maharaj that we should celebrate Purushottam month, but it's not as widespread as Kartik. Can you tell us why?
I can't, but I have to say that all the years, and we're talking about 56 years, I've lived in an ISKCON temple or close enough to be in the temple compound. I've never even heard of Purushottam Kshetra. Sorry. It's not something that was commonly done. Only in the last maybe 15, 20 years did I ever even remember Damodar being celebrated. Things were different. We were building, there was some things that Prabhupada just like fasting for Ekadasi. And what is it? The one that's coming up where you fast completely. Nirjala, we never did that. We never fasted. It was the Ekadasi feast. Everything was, there was carrot halva, but that doesn't mean to say that should be the end of it. It's Prabhupada did things in a certain way just to encourage the devotees that had come at the beginning to stay. Now I think it's great. I'm encouraged by this. I've been listening to lectures about this not festival, but holy time right now, because I've never studied it or hardly even heard about it. So it hasn't been, Prabhupada may have mentioned it to Satsvarup years ago, but maybe somewhere it was implemented, but it definitely wasn't any place that I had been, including New Vrindavan. So I'm glad to see things are progressing that way, so we can actually have the more culture of holy days and activities, because it actually cultivates some type of renunciation. You learn more prayers, you spend more time honoring that particular holy day, doing more service. It's captivating. So I'm happy for it. But I'm sorry, I'm not someone that can elaborate on it for you.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji, for giving us the historical background and how we have evolved, and we are trying to celebrate every festival. And Purushottam month only comes every 3 years, so it's very rare as well. So not every year we celebrate it.
Right.
Thank you, Mataji.
I'm gonna learn more about it. I mean, I'm gonna listen to more lectures and stuff and see where I can find out more information about it, because I like to add things to my devotional calendar for a year. Okay, I have to be going. It is past 8:45.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mataji. And since Mataji has mentioned about her mother, so let us pray for her mother 3 times Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Ram.
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare
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 Rama,
Ram Hare
Rama
Ram
Rama,
Ram
Rama
Ram
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Hare Ram
Hare
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 Rama,
Ram
Rama,
Hare
Ram
Rama
Rama,
Ram
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Ram. Ram Ram. Hare. We pray for your Mataji's spiritual
Thank you.
and because of her, we got you and we got your association, your guidance. So we are so grateful to your parents, your mom and dad, and also of course Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Okay, thank you so much, and I look forward to the next meeting.
Yes,
Thank
Mataji.
you. Thank you, Mataji. Nice to have you back. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
On
Thank you.
YouTube, you can Google about Maharaj Radhanath Maharaj class on Purushottam month. It's very nice, Mataji. I heard yesterday.
Oh, good.
And I
Good.
can
Thank
send you
you.
the link. Yeah.
Yes, send me the link. Thank you so much. I'll listen to it later.
Yes, thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Let's
Hare
pray for
Krishna.
to all
Hare
the
Krishna.
Vaishnavas. Vancha kalpataru Kripa Sindhu cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha. Anant Koti Vaishnav ki jai. Shri Das Thakur ki jai.
Jai.
Shri Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri
Jai.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Jayshri Mataji ki jai.
Jai.
So much
Thank
Hare
Mataji.
you.
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Bol.
Yay, Hari Bol,
Hari Bol.
everyone.
Hari
Thank
Bol.
you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Thank you.